कुंज बिहारी। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। शिला प्रभुपाद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते, गोपेश गोपिका कांठ राधा कांठ नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी, वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadishi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6, text number 36. Lingam cha tapasabhishtam bhashma danda jatajinam angena sandhyabhra rucha chandralekham cha bibhratam. Translation: He was seated on a deer skin and was practicing all forms of austerity. Because his body was smeared with ashes, he looked like an evening cloud. On his hair was a sign of a half moon, a symbolic representation. Text number 37. We can repeat. Upavishtam dharbha mayam brishyam brahma sanatanam naradaya pravochantam prichyate shrinvatam satam. Upavishtam darbhamayam Upavishtam darbhamayam Brishyam brahma sanatanam Brishyam brahma sanatanam Naradaya pravochantam Naradaya pravochantam Prichyate shrinvatam satam Prichyate shrinvatam satam Upavishtam darbhamayam Upavishtam darbhamayam Brishyam brahma sanatanam Brishyam brahma sanatanam Naradaya pravochantam Naradaya pravochantam Prichyate shrinvatam satam Prichyate shrinvatam satam. Prabhu? Okay, Mataji's. Upavishtam dharvamayam Prishyam brahma sanatanam Naradaya pravochantam Prichyate shrinvatam satam. Upavishtam dharvamayam Brishyam brahma sanatanam Naradaya pravochantam Prichyate shrinvatam satam. Upavishtam, seated. Darbhamayam, made of darbha, straw, made of darbha, straw. Brishyam, on a mattress. Brahma, the absolute truth. Sanatanam, the eternal. Naradaya, unto Narada. Pravochantam, speaking. Prichate, asking. Shrinvatam, listening. Satam, of the great sages. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. He means Lord Shiva was seated on a straw mattress and speaking to all present, including the great sage Narada, to whom he specifically spoke about the absolute truth. We can repeat, he was seated on a straw mattress and speaking to all present, including the great sage Narada, to whom he specifically spoke about the absolute truth. Purport: the Lord was sitting on a mattress of straw because such a sitting place is accepted by persons who are practicing austerities to gain understanding of the absolute truth. In this verse, it is specifically mentioned that he was speaking to the great sage Narada, a celebrated devotee. Narada was asking Lord Shiva about devotional service, and Shiva, being the topmost Vaishnava, was instructing him. In other words, Lord Shiva and Narada were discussing the knowledge of the Veda. But it is to be understood that the subject matter was devotional service. Another point in this connection is that Lord Shiva is a supreme instructor and the great sage Narada is a supreme audience. Therefore, the supreme subject matter of Vedic knowledge is bhakti, devotional service. And there is a small purport in the previous verse by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Shiva's symptoms of austerity are not exactly those of a Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is certainly the number one Vaishnava, but he exhibits the feature of a particular class of men who cannot follow the Vaishnava principles. The Shaivites, the devotees of Lord Shiva, generally dress like Lord Shiva, and sometimes they indulge in smoking and taking intoxicants. Such practices are never accepted by the followers of Vaishnava rituals. So here we continue. Yesterday we heard very nice class from Maharaj. We learned a lot. Today we continue. So Lord Shiva is performing a lot of austerity. He lives very simple, covered with ashes, and he's sitting on a deer skin, kusha grass, and he's just meditating on Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So austerity is performed in various ways. As Bhagavad Gita speaks on the 17th chapter, different level of austerities, penance and sacrifices. So here, austerity of the body is text number 14 in chapter 17. The translation is, austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas, a spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity and celibacy and non-violence. But Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Text 16 it says, and satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence, or the austerities of the mind. Text 70 says, this threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by man not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme is called austerity in a mode of goodness. So a devotee doesn't mean that he has to drop everything now, look for a place in the mountain or in the Himalaya and put the deer skin and kusha grass and sit, perform the Ashtanga yoga and do the meditation. Prabhupada, he has taught us and he has given us that we can be anywhere, any place, in our house, in our office, in temple, in the city, in the town, wherever we are, we always chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because during my personal, when I walked all over Himalayas with the devotees on Padayatra, I realized that it is good to go and spend some time, but we cannot live there and relish this path of devotion, bhakti. When we went, like Radhanath Swami also, when you read his book, My Journey Home, you see, before coming to fully surrender to Srila Prabhupada, he also went and spent time in Himalayas, met some great saints. Some of them live in the cave. So on the Padayatra, we also came across a few of them, genuine one. Like when we went to Yamunotri by walk, there was a Baba, is a very saintly person. They used to call him Nepali Baba. Now he offered us to stay in the rooms that he had available, and we spent a few days there. All the Padayatris, it was I think 92. But although it was summer, it was very cold. Himalaya high, 3,000, more than 3,000 meter high. It was cold. We were wearing this warm clothes and jackets and sweaters, and we were moving. But when we stayed in his rooms, it was very warm. It was not cold at all. Because around the room that the Baba has, he has been staying there for ages, there was a natural hot offspring. Yeah, water is very hot, just flows around. So that kept the room very warm. You don't need heater or whatever. And pilgrims, when they go there, they have they buy a little bit rice and potato, and they put in this hot kund, tied with a cloth, and they wait for a while chanting the prayers or Mahamantra. And then the rice become cooked and the potato become cooked. It become prasad of the Yamunotri. We have it in Badrinath also and other places, the hot kunds. So there are Baba who are performing austerities, but that saintly person, he no need to be, he was not performing very austere sadhana, because he was living in a room which is naturally very warm. Then when we went Gangotri, we met a few saintly person who are living also many years in Himalaya. They had hardly any clothes on them, and they were in this cold and shivering, where ice is melting. You see Ganga is melting. They were moving around very peacefully while we were tired, struggling, and to survive there in the high altitude. And also different places we met very great sadhus. Of course, some of them, as mentioned in the purport of 36, they do take intoxication, ganja, they smoke, and they try to perform their way of spiritual life. But one thing I realize, and it's very difficult to be there for years and years, because we naturally in this Kali Yuga, it is natural and very, very easy to perform devotional service, which starts from chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and engaging in devotional service. Austerities, this is the austerity of devotee. The biggest austerity for devotees is to maintain the regulative principles and the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and their sadhana for years and years and years, and never become slack, never become very irresponsible, or but grow. As definition of bhakti is always devotees are progressing and growing. Devotional service is like that. So we don't become complacent, lethargic after 30 years of practice of devotional service or more, and don't become enthusiastic, etc. So that's the biggest austerity. The biggest austerity of devotee is to maintain their chanting of Maha Mantra daily and grow the taste and increase the taste and the attachment for practicing devotional service. And in this purport of text number 37, when Lord Shiva was sitting on a mattress of straw, because such a sitting place is accepted by persons who are practicing austerities. One thing also we have come across, it is nice to have this way of practicing austerities, to be very simple. But Prabhupada also has taught, the Goswami has quoted, Yukta Vairagya. We have an opulent temple here, temple hall. Unlike other places, they don't have this privilege. We have facilities here to have a good room. We sleep on mattress. But as long as we are becoming more and more Krishna conscious, so it's fine. There's nothing wrong. Like Prabhupada, he traveled in planes. He was driven in big cars, very opulent. But that didn't make any difference for him, because his purpose was very clear and very resolute, that he was there to give Krishna consciousness, to save as many as conditioned souls as he could. And no matter whether he was in Vrindavan, living like a simple mendicant, going door to door, doing madhukari, and begging some food, and living in a small room in Radha Damodar temple, or he was in the big cities of Europe and America, where they offered him all kinds of material facilities, but doesn't matter for him. He just carried on his mission of trying to save as many fallen souls like us all around the world. So it's fine if we can go and try to live like Mayapur. We have a very simple setup of the Gurukul, where the young children they are allowed to get through this simple living and high thinking, and learning all the mantras and all the studying all Prabhupada books scrutinizingly, performing the sadhana in a very simple and very natural way. We have this. But to be honest with you, like in Vrindavan, when I was studying in VIH, We also had together Gurukul children studying in the ground floor, and yes, in one side of the building, the Gurukul building. So they were very much looking like swan-like, dressed in yellow, dhoti kurta. Every morning they were in Mangalarti. They were growing very nicely, and they got very good training, very good environment. As the Mangalarti is over, Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Gaura Hari ki Jai, Hare Krishna. So they were performing a very strict sadhana. Every day they were up like all of us. We were on the first floor, and some of the brahmacharis were living on the second floor. Indra Prabhu was there also. So they had a very strict, very simple living, and they were trained. And every day they were present in Mangalarti. They were taken to various holy places, and they got a good environment where they grew very healthily, spiritually, and devotionally. But in due course of time, some of them, they faced some difficulty when they came out of the Gurukul, and like when the devotees, they come to join ashrams, they have very strict training and very good prasadam, good association, everything goes well. But in due course of time, to some reason or other, if they want to step out and go and try to live a household life, whatever, etc., etc., it becomes very, very difficult. And that's a real austerity they go through. So there is austerity, different forms. So it doesn't mean only that you have to be like Lord Shiva is described here, sitting on deer skin and kusha grass and all these extreme austere situation. You can be in a very comfortable place where there is all kinds of material facilities, and then but practice Krishna consciousness. These austerities do help. It do help, but also it can also, at the end, one may not become fully self-realized, and it go to taste material life after many years of practicing austerity. Yeah, we had some interesting meetings of different saintly persons in the Himalayas. One time we went, it was I think after Rudraprayag, one of the confluence of Ganga rivers. We stayed, we were hosted by a very nice and very kind saint. Of course, he came from South India. So he came completely detached from this material world, and he came and he was doing his meditation. He was living in a cave, and there the Ganga river, the Alakananda, flow very strong current. So I don't know how he crossed, and in the middle there was like an island, and he was living there among the rocks, and he was trying to meditate. Very simple, and he would just be like that. But he said to us how long he could do that. He can't do that forever. After some time, the Lord gave him the realization that he must come out of this cave and go and teach and spread the glories of the Lord. So then he came out and he started to move around people. He developed an ashram. He built a hall, facilities to receive pilgrims, especially from South India, because he was from South India. Then he started to take pilgrims for darshan in Badrinath and Joshimath, all these places. So he shared his realization to us that he tried. He was thinking that now this will be his life. He's going to be in this cave and he's going to eat very simple whatever he get. and he's going to just do meditation, and this is what is going to happen the rest of his life. But this is Kali Yuga, it is not going to happen like that. So he changed. Another saintly person we met also on our way to Badrinath, while we were walking from Rishikesh to Badrinath. He was very unique among many saints that I met in the Himalaya. He had a very well furnished ashram. Everything was there you can think of. He gave us shelter. He allowed us to use his rooms and halls, extra rooms for visitors, and he also arranged a prasadam for us. So he has been living there for many years. During the day, he goes and meditate in the cave and be very, very detached and renounced. But then he come back to his very well set up room where you have all facilities and he have a good life, which is fine. As long as he's progressing on his path of spirituality, that's fine. But I'm just quoting this because it is not easy to go completely like in an isolated place, setting up deer skin and putting kusha grass and doing this process of Ashtanga Yoga. 5,000 years ago, already Arjuna said it is not easy, my dear Krishna, because a mind is very chanchala, means flickering, is very difficult to control. It is more difficult to control than to control the wind. Then Lord Krishna concludes that Yoginam api sarvesham, this 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham madgater antaratmana shadhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. So here also all these Vedas and the Puranas, all these literatures, they were compiled high in the Himalaya. After Badrinath, about I think 6 or 8 kilometers, there is a holy place called Mana. So this is, and there is also a place called Vyas Gufa, and this is where all these Vedas and all these Vedic literatures were compiled by Lord Vyasdev, and Lord Ganesha was his secretary. It's on the bank of river Saraswati. Also, one time when Bhima was going to get flowers, the celestial flowers for Draupadi. So when you couldn't cross the river Saraswati, which is you can't see, you can only see in that place. So when he was about to cross, he just took a big stone and placed it on the two banks, so it became a bridge. Today is called Bhima Pool. So all these austerities and penances that many saintly person do, well, in Kali Yuga, all this result can be achieved just being wherever you are. Jare dekho tare kahan Sri Krishna Upadesh. Wherever you are in the forest, you are in the home, you are in school, wherever, whichever part of the, you can always attain this result by just engaging in devotional service. Because this purport ends, this goes, in this purport of text 37, is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada mentioned here. In other words, Lord Shiva and Narada were discussing the knowledge of the Veda. But it is to be understood that the subject matter was devotional service. Great teachers of Veda in the history of humankind, they have concluded their life by quoting that bhakti, devotional service, is a samambandhana of all this knowledge. For example, Shankaracharya, who appeared many years ago, many centuries ago, and he was very, very well versed in, he was Naistiki Brahmachari. He came and preached the philosophy of Vedanta, Advait Vedanta. But towards the end of his life, when he was passing through Varanasi, Varanasi is a place called Vidyapit, like Navadvip is another place, Vidyapit, where the holy place is for educating ourselves in Sanskrit, in all the Vedas, in all the Puranas. Everywhere that you go, there's temples, there's on the bank of the holy river Ganga. And there is everywhere there is Gurukul and students learning. So when Shankara passes through this place called Varanasi, then he composes prayer, this stanza, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Murmate. He says, "O fools, why you simply absorbed day and night in learning the grammar, the Sanskrit grammar, Vyakaran. Please chant the name of Govinda, Govinda, Govinda." And Lord Chaitanya also, when he came on this planet, his Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was Vedas personified. He had all the knowledge because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At a very early age, he was running his Sanskrit school in Navadvip. Then one day, those days, there were many learned pandits walking around. They were called Digvijayas. Usually they used to go in different kingdoms, defeat the pandits from that kingdom, and in return they used to receive tax from these pandits. So one of such pandit came to Navadvip when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was still running his school of Sanskrit school. And because it was, Navadvip was considered also is a seat of Vidya, means knowledge, where they have very, very learned scholarly devotees as well as pandits, impersonalists also. And Kashmiri Pandit, Keshav Kashmiri. Those days Kashmir was full of these pandits who were coming from time immemorial, were Trivedis, Chaturvedis, Dvivedis, means learned in two Vedas, three Vedas, all the Vedas. So this Keshav Kashmiri, he came. And he came when the pandits of Navadvip heard that he's coming. They were very, very hesitant to go and contest with him because he was very highly knowledgeable. He was dressed with his turban, with his chadar, propped and pakka, like the many of these pandits, they walk around. But happened he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, the very learned pandits, they prayed to and they begged Lord Chaitanya to meet him, to try to contest with him. But somehow or other, while wandering on the bank of Ganges, Keshav Kashmiri, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. And he composed within very short time, he composed 100 verses in glorification of Ganga Ma, Mother Ganga. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was listening very peacefully. After listening, he pointed at all the mistakes he did and all this, the misquote he uttered. And when this happened, the big priest, who was very proud of his knowledge, he became very, very shaken. And then he was completely like a big master. He's defeated by a young boy called Nimai. So he went, when he slept, the goddess of education, Vidya, Saraswati Mother, appeared in his dream. And then he told this Keshav Kashmiri, "You are fooling around with the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So then when he woke up, then he ran and became very humble, as proud and he was. He became very humble. He did long Shashtang Pranam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he was performing his pastime in his childhood until he got married. Then he went to Gaya. When he went to Gaya for Pitridan for his forefathers, and he met his spiritual master Ishwarapuri. Ishwarapuri told him, "You fool, you please chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra and spread these glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all over. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare." So when he came to Navadvip, he changed completely. He's dancing and going like a madman and playing midrangam, and then with his associates and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and spreading this Harinam Sankirtan all over Navadvip, because that time Navadvip was also, there were good devotees, but also it was full of people who were practicing spirituality wrongly. There were a lot of tantrics. There was a lot of things going on, darkness. So in the midst of all these wrong things happening in the society, Lord Chaitanya came down from Gaya and he started this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because it is a Yug Dharma, Harinam Sankirtana. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nashteva, nashteva, nashteva gatiranyatha. So this chanting of Mahamantra. But who became very disturbed? The learned Pandits of Navadvip, who were completely convinced that this is wrong what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing, chanting like a sentimental person all around, instead of just studying Vedas and debating on the Vedas, Tark Vidark, and practicing the Vedic Dharma. So that was a biggest situation happened. Because in this purport also Srila Prabhupada is quoting there that in this verse it is specifically mentioned that Lord Shiva was speaking to Narad Muni, who is a celebrated devotee. Narada was asking Lord Shiva about devotional service, and Shiva, being the topmost Vaishnava, was instructing him. In other words, Lord Shiva and Narada were discussing the knowledge of the Veda, but it is to be understood that the subject matter was devotional service. Another point is, this connection is that Lord Shiva is a supreme instructor and a great sage. Narada was a supreme audience. So here also Lord Shiva is discussing devotional service with Narada Muni. So similarly, Lord Chaitanya, when he came, slowly, of course, these Brahmanas and these very smarta Brahmanas, as mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and these very fanatic persons, they became very angry with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they went to complain to Chankazi. This is the pastime of Chankazi. When they went to complain, then Chankazi sent his soldiers, and one day while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates were doing Sankirtan, fully absorbed in the Harinam, in the Shiva's Angan, then they came and they broke the Midranga and they attacked the devotees and so and so. Then we know what happened. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu organized a first social unrest, peacefully marching thousands of devotees with torch, and they reached to Chanka's house, and to make him understand very clearly, they had a very good discussion, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained him that this is a Yug Dharma, and yes, we have to study Vedas, we have to study all these Vedic literatures, but the conclusion of all this, that we are chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and perform devotional service and be very content and happy and self-satisfied. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he very clearly and inculcated in all the inhabitants through his associate in all his inhabitant hearts that this Kali Yuga, the only way we can save ourselves is through this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and by performing devotional service. So even when we started to preach Krishna consciousness all over, we were also, devotees were attacked, we were challenged that why we are dancing and wasting our time in the middle of the streets and playing midranga and just chanting and and by mistake there was in the 70s when Prabhupada's movement was spreading all over the world, then one other actor of Bollywood also made a movie called Hare Krishna Hare Ram Dam Maro Dam. So that also brought a lot of bad things happen to devotees. Everywhere it has reaction, where devotees were attacked and many things happened. But slowly, devotees continued by the Prabhupada inspired them. Prabhupada gave them courage to, in spite of all this, whatever happened, we had a lot of obstacles in the Western countries also, in India also, but Prabhupada gave us this Shakti to continue to spread this Hare Krishna Mahamantra all over the world. And slowly, people who were very learned, whether they were learned Pandits or learned in the universities of Western countries, they started to take to Krishna consciousness and start to honor and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with great respect. Otherwise, it was not accepted. It was considered like a sentimental practice, just chanting and dancing on the street. Even in Mauritius one time, when we were doing Harinam on the road, one priest came, very learned, he hit one devotee. He said, "What you are doing? Go and study the Vedas. You are spoiling the name of our dharma." So several times we were in situations like that. But then when they found out that actually devotees also are very well versed, they know scripture very well. When devotees started to speak in front of audience and quote verses, then they started to slowly respect. Otherwise, there was a mood in the 70s that these Hare Krishnas, they are a bunch of hippies, they are spoiling the name of Sanatan Dharma. They are degrading a lot of Hindus, they thought we are degrading our practice of Dharma, our Hinduism. But even in the movie there is a song. This actor sings, "Dekho divano tum ye kaam na karo, Ram ka naam badnaam na karo." So he made a song. So from then, many Hindus thought that we are spoiling the name of Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, and we are going and chanting like sentimental. Same thing like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu faced when he came from Gaya. And then these are opposition that we faced everywhere in the world, especially wherever there were Indians also. But slowly, the same Indians and Hindus, they started to understand that we are not simply chanting and dancing like hippies, but we are really good devotees, full of knowledge, and slowly we're spreading this happy energy. Actually, we are changing hippie, drunk people, intoxicated people who are performing sinful activities into good swan-like devotees. Then they started to slowly accept. Like even in Bengal, it was very tough when devotees started to spread the glories of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Even in the pastimes and teachings of Lord Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj, you can hear the inhabitants of Krishna Nagar, especially, they used to harass devotees and give them very hard time and not respect the Mahamantra. The whole Bengal, where this chanting of Mahamantra come from, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, the Goda days, for years it was communist. And when you go there, it was tough. They mock you, they tease you. When we walked on Padayatra through Bengal, after a few days, several foreigner devotees ran away because they were pulling our Sika, saying things, swearing at us, and sometimes the communist followers, they will stop and they will scream and shout and utter their slogans of communism. Intakab, Jindabad. so but slowly, the effort and the causeless mercy of Jayapataka Swami and many devotees who organized Namhata, well organized Namhata, congregational preaching, Bhakti Vriksha, all this preaching spreading every town and village of Bengal. The second time when we went through Padayatra on Bengal, then it became a little bit more easy and less dangerous, and because we started to meet devotees all over. And so this is how Krishna consciousness started to grow, and the devotees started to make a lot of effort, and people start to take to devotional service and respect, with high respect, and people from all background, rich, poor, middle class, learned, materially not learned, they started to join Krishna consciousness. Leaders of countries, the best happened through Prabhupada. The big superstars, musicians, they take to Krishna consciousness. Then it changed the whole world, and today we take to Krishna consciousness. We go easily and we walk around easily, and people respect us very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Is there any comment or any question? No? Okay. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.